Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. Today, oh my God, I am so excited because we have Jen Stark, who, first of all, is so amazing. I was just saying right before this that she is like the most established, like accomplished artist we've ever had on this podcast show. So you're definitely in for a treat with this one. And yeah, I actually met Jen Stark at VeeCon. And so we'll talk about that in a second, but Jen, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat with you all and dig into VeeCon, art, NFTs, all that good stuff.
Yes, let's do it. And by the way, you have a great name. You know, Jen.
Thank you. Your name is great.
Jen, Jenny. So yeah, let's talk about VeeCon because I was moderating your panel. It was physical to digital. You also had a panel on the main stage. You know, you're kind of doing a lot out there at VeeCon, but yeah, physical to digital with you, Brilly, and Greg Mike, which was awesome. It was on the last day of VeeCon. And yeah, we didn't really talk too much about your VeeCon experience because, you know, we were kind of talking about, oh, panel's about to start, you know, talking about that. But how was everything for you? How was VeeCon? You know, what was your experience like as a speaker?
I mean, VeeCon exceeded my expectations. I spoke on 2 panels, your panel, and then one with Gary Vee on the main stage the same day. So that was a little wild. But yeah, I mean, I kind of came out there not really having expectations, just being like, okay, I'm gonna fly out, I'm gonna speak, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, the whole organization, like the whole team, they made this event so amazing. They took care of the speakers so well. I met so many good friends, like Web3 friends I've never met before in person. It just blew my mind, and I'm going back next year for sure.
Yeah, they were so like everybody was so nice and friendly, and I was blown away by how organized everything was, considering how many people were there and how chaotic it could have been. Like they did a really good job, you know, having just a lot of people in place to make sure everything was running smooth, which was great.
And the cool thing about having it in Minneapolis, it's kind of like, why Minneapolis? It's so weird and random. But it's actually kind of smart because there's not really like too much else going on in the city that we wanted to go to, like not really many satellite events. So everybody just went to the stadium every day and we all, you know, bumped into each other. It was kind of like crypto summer camp. It was awesome. So everybody was in a central spot and it was so much fun.
Do you get nervous like when you had you had a panel on the main stage, Gary Vee, like my panel, do you get nervous like right before? Like, because I don't know about you, but my mouth gets all dry. Like I'm all like, my hands are tingly. Like, I'm always getting so nervous right before the panels.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking, but I didn't get as nervous as I thought I would, especially on the main panel, you know, in front of like thousands of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, it was fun. I feel like, you know, the more I do it, the more I get better at public speaking. So it was fun.
Yeah. So you've been an artist for quite a while now. And, you know, I kind of want to talk about your NFT journey first and how you got into NFTs. Because it's actually funny because I have my note card for the panel right here. And I had written that you were the first female artist to make Foundation's top 10 highest selling creatives. which is what I said for your intro. And I'm curious on how you got started, and for everyone listening, how you got started in NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start from the beginning. I'm a visual artist, and I've been creating visual artwork for like 15 years. So since like 2007, and have, dabbled in the digital world a little bit. I typically started with sculptures and drawings and paintings, and kind of dived into stop motion animation and then digital animations. So one of the first ones was with the MTV VMAs. They invited me to have artwork in it, and that was the year that Miley Cyrus was the host. So 2015, it was like the trippiest VMAs ever, and I created some awesome, animated assets with David Lewandowski, who's a super talented animator. That was my first foray into like the digital animation world, and then we kept working together and kind of had this portfolio of animations together. And then when NFTs happened, we both became so obsessed, just like dove into Clubhouse, just learning all we could. I was super excited about the idea of artist provenance and actually getting royalties on your artwork, because in the fine art world, especially in the US, you don't usually see royalties. Like once you sell your artwork, it's gone, So just dove into it and decided together, me and David Lewandowski, we decided, okay, which of the animations we created would we drop first? And decided on Foundation because it was like very clean and more like fine art based. And it was, kind of, again, it exceeded my expectations. Like this whole NFT world has been a wild ride. It's been fun.
How was that Miley Cyrus VMAs experience? Did you get to go to it and everything too? Like that's wild. I remember that too.
I did, yeah. And coincidentally, I met her like a few months before the VMAs. My friend Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips, he texted me one day and he's like, "Hey, I'm at Miley's house. Come over." So I come over and I meet her.
Oh, they made a song. I remember they made a song together.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
So they're good friends, and I just came over and met her, and he talked my artwork up a lot, and she was really into it. And then about a week or two later, I get a text from like an anonymous number that's like sending me a mock-up of her with my artwork on a billboard, and she's like, "It was Miley. Do you want to be part of the MTV VMAs? Do you want to create artwork for it?" And I'm like, "Yes, this is amazing." And MTV approached me separate from her. So it was like kind of a crazy synchronous thing. And I think they said my name and she's like, "Oh, I already met her. Perfect." So and that was fun. The MTV VMAs were a dream. I got to go to her after party, which was really cool. Like I had an all stage pass. So I was like sitting in the audience, and then I had to use the pass. So I'm like, okay, I'll be back. So I go on stage and go to the back of the stage, and you see like, all the famous people running around, like getting ready for their performances and speaking. And it was a dream.
Is there anyone you met that really like stood out to you besides like Miley, obviously?
Miley, of course. Who else was there that year? I mean, I think The Weeknd did a performance. Yeah, I'm trying to remember specific people, but it's just like anyone you can think of in the music industry.
Everybody was there, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
So one of the things that you were talking about on the panel, which I remember, it's like, sometimes you just remember these tiny little nuggets. And you were saying, like, you said you've been an artist for 15 years, and it's like it takes time for you to kind of hone down and decide like, well, what's your style, and like what specifically, what's your style of art that you're going to create. Because it's like there's so many different, especially if you're a creative person, it's like there's so many different things you can do and create, and you kind of have to niche down a bit. And so how did you come to decide that the style that you have now, which is like, the super colorful, like trippy, rainbow designs. How did you decide that was like, okay, this is my style. I'm gonna start like doing things around this?
Yeah, I think it came from experimenting a lot. Like when I was younger, I was in like the magnet art classes in my public school. I would always like be in the art classes, and luckily in Miami there were I grew up in Miami, a couple of really good public art schools, and yeah, kind of fostered me in that way. And then after college, I had this job working for like a company I wasn't really into. It was creative, but it wasn't that great. So I saved up money after like a year and a half, and I'm like, I'm going to be a fine artist. I'm going to jump. I'm just going to like do it and see what happens. So I saved up this money, moved back to Miami, and just decided to do my own art career. I was selling drawings out of my studio, and yeah, it just worked out. And I ever since I was small, I've just loved color and like psychedelic imagery. And when I first started creating this kind of art, like I had never taken psychedelics before. So it's funny that it's just like these images and patterns that are like ingrained in all of us. And I think a lot of the imagery comes from nature, those equations in nature, like Fibonacci sequence and Nautilus spirals and fractals. So I just had this love of nature and science and mystery, kind of trying to figure out like all these shapes in nature have this mathematical equation, and you can see it from like the shape of the Milky Way galaxy, like spiraling to like a tiny snail shell, like it has the same shape. And I just love that idea. There's so many similarities in nature, and kind of trying to crack that code.
I love that. It's like math and art and nature, like all combined. And the first time I did shrooms, like I was like, outside, obviously, like you can't just be like inside doing shrooms, you have to be outside. And like just looking at a leaf, you realize like how like the synchronicities, right? And the patterns. And it's like, whoa, like this isn't just a leaf, like there's all these lines and these patterns, and the flowers, like everything in nature has these patterns, and we just kind of take things for granted, especially nature, and how fascinating it is. It's like, okay, it's not a man-made building, it's like literally nature. And yeah, it's actually pretty crazy. If you really like look at things, like really look at a leaf up close and study it, and you're like, wow, this is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's wild. Like, seeing branches on a tree and like the shape of our veins and all that stuff. Like there's something in the architecture of the universe that's, putting out these designs. And kind of my artwork is there to dive into it and see if I can make any discoveries and just be inspired by it.
Yeah, I'm looking at your art blocks collection right now. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I forgot that you had an art blocks. When did that drop?
I did, yeah. So that was in December 2021, and that was called the Vortex. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's really cool.
Yeah, and that was fun because I had been wanting to do art blocks for a while. It's kind of, for me, it's like the ultimate NFT platform with like generative art. It's like, it feels elevated to me. And I got linked up with Rich Lord, who is another artist who did a couple art blocks drops like Octo Garden and Geo Runners. So I saw his patterns, and he was doing the Fibonacci sequence with code. So I luckily got linked up with him, and he was a fan of my work already. So I'm like, let's collaborate together. I want to be on art blocks. Let's do it. Wow. So we kind of just brainstormed for, I think it maybe took us like 6 months from start to finish. And yeah, just kind of emulating my earlier paper sculptures. So when I was starting out as an artist, I was doing these really intricate, kind of like labor intensive paper sculptures where I would cut a sheet of paper, trace, cut the next sheet of paper, trace, and just make these like geotopographical forms out of this like, Technicolor paper, and he tried to emulate that with code, and I think he killed it. Like the Dropout, I was super proud of it. Just taking.
Nah, they're really, really good looking through them. And I like the 3D depth of them. That's really nice. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jennifer, if you had more questions. I was actually really enjoying you two just chat it up. It's really good conversation. So if I was being a little quiet, I was just really enjoying the convo. But yeah, for sure. No, but I looked at a lot of your art today. I live near Miami also. So I live in Parkland. And
cool.
Do you still have your mural at the Miami airport?
I do. Yeah. That's
still there.
A permanent mural. So
cool. Yeah. I got I was going to 100% stop by there next time, take a picture and tag you on Twitter next time. At the Miami airport.
Yes, please.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So, and you said you were on Clubhouse early on. And so I talk about famously on this podcast. I love Clubhouse. I still go on there. It's kind of dead, but a lot of my friends are still on there. And now that you say that, what rooms were you like? What was like the group of people you were hanging out with?
Like Farouk and Friends with You and like John Knopf.
Yeah. I remember being in those rooms for sure.
Yeah, like those kind of rooms. I would bounce around a lot, but.
Did you ever end up in like the rooms with like Mitch Putnam, Frank Kozik? I'm trying to remember if you were ever in those ones. You know those guys or no?
I'm not sure.
No. Okay, it's all good. That's where I ended up. That's another like group of artists, and we still get on there every now and then.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's in the beginning. That's where I got my.
Yeah, no, that's where it was. Like it was. Yeah, NFTs where it was. There were rooms with hundreds and hundreds of people every night, and now a big room would be 50 people. A huge NFT room right now.
Wow.
Yep. It all moved to Spaces. And do you know that Twitter tried to buy Clubhouse for like $4 billion and Clubhouse turned them down? Yeah. This was like the middle of 2021, about a year ago. And Clubhouse turned them down and Twitter just, all right, we'll make our own.
Oh, that's how Spaces started. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
They were like, hey, you guys are doing something right. Like this, Clubhouse was becoming really popular and Twitter just crushed them.
Yeah. And I think it was also like we were, it was kind of the tail end of COVID, even though COVID is still a thing.
Right.
So everybody's just on their phones, just, wanting to connect with people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was a fun time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good time. Good vibes on there. Everyone helping each other and figuring things out and just really like understanding, wow, this is a whole new thing. Now it's kind of like a year later, it's like there's all this fraud and everyone's been through it, different vibe. There's good players and bad players, but it felt like everybody was so cool back then.
Yeah, like the innocence and like purity.
Yeah, exactly.
People were just like, what is this? Like, let's teach each other. And it was
that's exactly right. We were learning together. What's this blockchain? How do you do this? How do you do that? Sure.
Like you couldn't Google that back then. You probably barely can now, but
barely can
on the internet. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you couldn't Google any of that. How do I set up my MetaMask? Like there's no Google for it.
Yeah.
I remember when I Googled the NBA Top Shot because I was like really early. And it was on the second page. I was like, what? It was like on the second. Anyway, what do you like creating better, digital or physical art?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I would say I can't answer it because I love both, and my physicals inform my digital, and I think they're just like different mediums to get my concepts out. But if I would have to pick like something, I would say maybe painting the murals, because it's very different than my day-to-day thing where I'm like in the studio on my computer. I'll just go to the mural site. We'll get to drive big scissor lifts and just get like really physical up, like 40 feet high on a lift. And it kind of takes me out of my daily routine. So yeah, I mean, I love them all. I love doing it all.
I'd imagine there's something about physically doing something like, we're always on our electronic devices. So it's like digital is probably really fun too, because it's like maybe more possibilities and stuff. But yeah, something about being in the real world. I've been really liking the real world a lot lately, trying to do less online.
Yeah, and it's something a lot of us kind of forgot, like the past year with NFTs. We just dove into the screen, dove into our phones, and a lot of people are, even me, like neglecting your health as much and exercising and mental health. It's important to take care of ourselves. So
yeah,
up until 3 a.m.
Yep.
Those DGen hours.
DGen hours.
Watching OpenSea activity.
Yeah.
Aping into goblins.
Oh God. Do you guys have a goblin?
That's not me.
Nope, I don't.
Oh, I thought you would have had him by now.
No. If I miss it, I miss it. I'm not trying to play that game. Especially what happens, like you don't know who the founder is. Like, what if people don't like the founder when it comes out? You know,
Zagabond situation.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Anything can happen.
What are some of your favorite NFTs to collect? Like, you create a lot. Do you collect as well? And who are? Is it projects? Is it more one-of-one artists? It like kind of collecting.
It's a little of both. I guess in the beginning it was more one-of-one, and then I got more into like the PFPs and the edition type stuff. But I have like definitely over 100 NFTs in my collection, which is probably not as much as most Web3 people, but yeah, I like. What are a couple of my favorites?
Quality over quantity, So.
Yeah. My last one that I collected was Tom Sachs, the like Mars rock.
The rocket shit. Yeah.
That was a funny.
Oh, the rock. Oh, the Mars rock. Yeah.
Yes. And I met him during VeeCon, and I was a fan of his work and what he's been doing. And he's just like such a cool and approachable guy, very smart. So I'm like, all right, I gotta get a Mars rock this time. And the whole experience of, it's not just like click a button and mint. It's you dive into Decentraland and you're an avatar, and you get to pick one of 3 atmospheres, like an icy one, a desert one. And
whoa, I didn't even know all this.
Yeah, so you pick it and you walk into it, and then it lets you like mine the rock, and then it like takes you back out, I think, to their website where you like physically click mint or something. But it's like it's a cool experience, and that's like one of the favorites that I collected. I have a bunch, like, let's see, cryptodes, crypto dick butts, which is funny. I talk about it to my assistants. They're like, what are you talking about?
Oh, don't worry, it's huge. It's art.
It's art.
Crypto dick butts.
Yes.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Don't worry.
Yep. I also love, I don't have one yet, but Matt Kane, he's another art blocks artist who did Gazers. And it's like an NFT that has coding in it that it's like an abstract image of a moon, and it's all based on the lunar cycle. So every new moon event that happens, or like Einstein's birthday, or just, I don't know, stuff related to space, you'll see surprises with your NFT, and it'll change and it'll animate. Really? I love those ideas, like having little surprises and Easter eggs and NFTs.
Yeah, and like it's coded in, so it's like just already going to be, it's already set to be happening, It's not manual work you have to do after the fact. Like, that's super dope.
Oh, that is really cool. So it's set in automatically. He couldn't change it if he wanted at this point, right? Since it's
he might. I think some people, like, the metadata it's kind of open and you can change it, but I think for him, he just set it.
I wonder how many years he set it for.
Right. It might just be a year. I don't know. I guess we'll
for
see.
Life, forever, infinity. Is that possible?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't even know. Yeah. I did a panel with the Art Blocks founder, Eric Snowfro, and Tyler Hobbs, creator of Fidenza. Awesome. And it was like, I didn't even know. It's like, I'm like, generative art, like, my own mind of what I thought that was not what it actually was. Like, I'm like, oh, it just like generates. Like, I didn't really think about it. But then it's like, you have these experts, that are super smart explaining it to you. Like, what is generative art? Oh, it's like, it's this whole thing. You're like programming art, but you can't control the output. Like, you're just kind of, your art is only as good as your code. And it's like really interesting.
That was the fascinating part about art blocks for me. So when I worked with Rich Lord on mine, you kind of like try to get your code to like the spot that you want it, try to eliminate the bugs and the errors. And then when the thing mints, I don't know what mint 0 or what mint 1,000 is going to look like. We just like kind of have an idea. So it's really interesting. Like, it just, comes out of thin air. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. It's incredible. And no wonder Art Blocks has, most of the projects on Art Blocks have been so successful and everything. I think a lot of people that are really into the tech, they understand it and they realize, oh, this is the future. And, even Eric was saying like, oh, your like pixelated monkey is not going to look good in 20 years when our technology has advanced and the way we're displaying things and being able to see stuff. It's like, it's not going to look as good. Whereas like stuff on art blocks, like there's like this standard that they have for artists where it's like, okay, it has to be a certain way so that no matter how far we are in the future, it'll like basically adapt, like, and it'll always look good. Like, the quality will always look good.
That's awesome.
So I thought that was like really interesting. I'm like, whoa, I didn't even think about that.
Snowfield's a smart guy.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. A lot of smart people in this space, a lot of creative people, a lot of smart people, a lot of combinations of both. That's why we have Jen Stark here, obviously. I wanted to talk about first of all, how do you know Gary Vee? And also you did the gift goat airdrop to the gift holders, which was super cool. I'm looking at them right now. Actually, I have them on one of my tabs here. Yeah. How did you get to know Gary Vee?
Yeah, I met Gary Vee through a Zoom. So his team reached out to me, I would say in like January or February this year. Just a fan of my artwork, wondering how we can work together. And then they approached me with the gift goat idea. And I saw that they had worked with so many other amazing people like Drifter Shoots, Pop Wonder, Sloth, Danny Cole from Creature Friend. So they just have this like awesome background of artists creating the NFTs for the airdrop. So I was like, all right, I'm on board. And created 15 different NFTs, all of editions. And they airdropped it to the, VeeFriends holders. And also they got an infinite objects frame of it, which was really cool, like digital and physical. And then, met Gary Vee on a Zoom during that. And then I got to meet him in person at VeeCon. They asked me to be a speaker. So I was like, yeah, I'm down. I was going to come anyways. So might as well me out.
Might as well go out there and speak on the stages, right? Yeah, I didn't even think I was going to be able to go to VeeCon. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to buy a ticket or anything. And then they just reached out like through like an assistant's like Twitter account, and I thought it was fake. I was like, is this real? Like, and they're like, no, I swear it is. Like, let me put you in a group chat with Gary. It's real. I'm like, oh, okay.
Awesome. Was it Dave or Andy?
No, it was the person that originally reached out to me. They had like 100 followers. Like, they were like anonymous. That's why I was like, is this fake? Like, it didn't seem legit, but then it was. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then I got in contact with Zach Nadler, who's like the one behind the scenes actually doing all the thing. Everyone probably gives Gary all the credit, but it's really Zach doing all the work.
Yeah.
It's how it always is. Yeah, sorry, Michael. Do you have a question? I don't want to take over this interview.
No, one of the other things I wanted.
I feel like I
about,
talk too much sometimes.
No, this is it's really interesting listening to you guys chat. I'm totally cool with that. But I did need to bring something up with you, Jennifer. Did you, Jen? Either one? Have you heard? Did you hear the GOTA? No, did you hear the GOTA, the Gallery of Digital Arts with Cause and Pharrell? And Jennifer got one of her friends there, Barbell, got one of her friends a job there, or helped him get a Web3 job. And she heard about that project before anybody. Didn't tell any of us. Did you see what happened today?
Me?
The drop? Either of you guys? No?
I didn't even see it. I'm not following it.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, it dropped today at noon Eastern for 1 ETH, and immediately it went insane. It went to 6.5, like 7.5.
Wow.
Everybody in our Discord signed up for the pre-mint, but only one person got it. He flipped it for 7.5 ETH.
Damn,
that project is crushing it. They did like 1,500 ETH in volume today, and it's crushing it. Yeah.
What artist?
That's a little off of just the mint pass, their original like mint pass.
Oh, crazy. Yep. Wow.
Yep. Okay. There's a lot of really cool people involved in it. Jimmy.eth and who else did I see? That guy Cause, I think, is one of the main reasons people are so into it.
It's like a marketplace for artists, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's going to be a bit like
a foundation
art for the photography, like where they're gonna do drops. Even like art blocks. It's almost like if art blocks like did like a pre-mint pass beforehand. So now when you have that pass, you'll have first dibs at all the drops that this project does in the future. Yeah, so that's why people want the mint pass.
And Pharrell's involved with it, which is
Pharrell's involved with it. Exactly. And that guy Adler, what was his name? Dave Adler or Nick Adler? I think Nick Adler, who was on the stage with Snoop Dogg and Gary at the end there. That guy's involved with it. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh. Jennifer had the alpha and held out. I'm gonna never let her live it down.
Okay. First of all, let me clarify this because you're making me look bad. All right.
Yeah. Okay. The whole audience would have liked to know, but it's all good. It's all good. Totally cool.
First of all, I helped my friend get that job, but I didn't even know what the job was. I have people reaching out to me all the time, and somebody that I knew and trusted in the space was like, "Hey, do you know anyone that would be good as like a Discord person?" And I was like, "This guy," and I said Barbell, and then he couldn't tell me for the longest time what he was even doing, and I was like, "Okay, like I'm not gonna pry," and then he told me, but I don't have like a million hours in the day to like look into things, so I don't always like look into stuff. So I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
And then
I didn't get one myself. Okay, so
I found it myself on a side note, and then I messaged in the ticket there because I always try and get the NFT Catcher Discord like whitelist spots. So I asked, and Barbell responded. He's like, "Oh, I love the podcast. Jennifer's one of my best friends." He's like, "I always listen." But they couldn't get us. They couldn't hook us up, so it's all good.
Fair enough.
It was too late.
Well, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm actually, I'm
sorry you missed out on your generational wealth.
I'm just joking with you. I'm actually really happy for Barbell, really, because he seems like a nice guy, and we've been chatting a bunch, and happy for the project. It'd be nice to get in, but very happy for how it went down.
Jen, really do you follow along closely to like do you mint things, or do you just kind of wait till they go on the secondary? I mean, I know you said you minted the Tom Sachs.
Yeah, I definitely follow as close as I can. Like I knew about the GOTA pass and I signed up and I was on the wait list, but I obviously missed something today.
Yeah, everybody's on. It went on sale today for the people that got not the wait list, because everybody got. They have 20,000 people on the wait list for 1,000 passes. Yeah. So they're going to do a raffle on Friday. So keep an eye on your email because you might get lucky.
All right.
Yep. So, but it's a slim chance.
Yeah. I mean, I try to just support stuff that I am really into, and ape into some stuff when it's low enough. But I try to keep stay on Twitter every day and like see what's happening and see what new stuff is coming out.
That's good. That's good. I have Michael he's supposed to be the one keeping me on my toes, telling me the information.
I try.
Are you going to New York for NFT.NYC or like maybe not for the actual conference? Or maybe you're going to the actual conference.
I mean, most NFT conferences that I've gone to, I don't actually go to the conference. I just go to the parties and the satellite things. Gary Vee's was the first one that I actually attended officially. So yeah, I'm going to New York in a couple weeks.
Nice.
I'm so excited. After VeeCon, I was like, all right, I'm buying my tickets for New York like the next day. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's gonna be fun.
Are there any events that you're like really looking forward to going to?
I mean, there's too many events on Monday the 20th. I'm like, people, they keep sending me flyers and invites for that day. I'm like, couldn't somebody do like Tuesday or Wednesday?
It's crazy.
But yeah, I'm excited for a lot of things. I mean, the 100s Atom Bomb Squad seems like they're gonna have a fun party. My friend Dee's, who's a collector, is doing something at like a movie theater, which will be fun. Yeah, there's like a bunch of stuff. Too much to count, but yeah, I'm excited to meet up with people in real life.
Yeah, hopefully I run into you. So I'm gonna try to make my rounds as well. I'm actually collabing on an event on Wednesday. Although, you're probably busy, but if you're not, I'll send you the link to it on Twitter. I'm excited because there's already 700 people that have RSVP'd and we haven't officially announced it yet, even though I keep talking about it on the podcast.
Wow.
But yeah, we're partnering with Upstream, Cryptoys, Juicebox Friends, and
cool.
Then Swicky. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Awesome. I'm down. Let me know.
Oh, shoot. Okay. You heard it here first, folks. Celebrity guest appearance. Jen Stark. I got to add you to the VIP list. We can't have Jen Stark waiting in a line.
Let's go. I'm from Miami, so I like finagle my way, wherever I am.
And Jen's short like me.
She's not on the VIP list.
She weaves her way in,
We're small. We can maneuver.
Yeah. Make your way through people. No, that's the key though. People don't even realize you don't really need to wait in lines. Well, I don't know about NFT events, but if there's lines for clubs and stuff, you just go straight up to the front. Hey, can I come in? And then they'll let you in. Sometimes they're like, no, you got to win the line, but shoot your shot.
Yeah, 100%. Most of that's just confidence and just like.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
No, none of that. You can't do that, Michael. You can't do that.
I'm on Jenny's podcast. Do you guys? I'm on Jenny from the blockchain.
Jenny from the blockchain. She's my co-host.
You guys know that?
Let him in. Let him straight in.
Yeah. Let the man in. Come on.
Nice.
Oh man.
So what number podcast is this?
Oh, what number 63? Is this?
63.
Ooh, I almost made 69.
I know.
Almost.
We had. Do you know K Money?
Yeah.
K Money 69. Okay, so we brought him on for number 60, and then we're like, oh my God, why didn't we have him be on 69? Like that was like a missed opportunity. But now we got to think more strategically about. Yeah. Okay, we need to. Are there any numbers correlated with people? 63 is good.
I like 63. It's nice.
We're getting there.
Let's see. Closing questions. I mean, any final questions, Michael?
So we talked about what projects you like. I usually try and ask that. Your website is really awesome. Everyone should go check out jenstark.com.
I know. I was like looking at it a lot earlier.
Yeah, I was on it. So was I. Yep. You also have a Wikipedia page. I mentioned that before. So if anybody wants to check out, you've been in all kinds of museums. The Smithsonian owns your artwork. That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. No, I mean, so, and you're just going to keep cranking along. Do you have any more plans on dropping anything NFT wise?
100%. I can't not.
Yes.
Yep,
I love this world and I'm in it. There's like a couple things coming out in the next few months. And then if anybody's in Los Angeles, later this year. We're shooting for like October, November opening. We're gonna travel. A show I did in New York last year. It's this immersive kind of digital to physical show where this year is going to be a 10,000 square foot experience, like multiple rooms. You walk into the warehouse and it's just like my projection designs on the wall. You can touch things, the patterns and colors move. Some walls that you're touching are actually instruments, so you can like play different notes, and it like tracks your body in some of the rooms, so your body's actually an instrument, and like projected shapes can magnetize to you, and it's just like this crazy trippy show. But we're bringing it to LA, so if anybody's here later this year,
October, LA in October.
Yeah, October, November.
Nice.
I'm gonna try to make a trip just so I can go. I want to go. I want to go to that. Like,
take some mushrooms, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. There's actually, at the last iteration in New York, we were open for about 2 months, and there were a few people that came in tripping, and
I'm sure there were
chilling and experiencing it. This year's gonna be even better because we'll have like food and beverage. It'll be more like a destination where you can like meet someone for a drink and then go see the show. And yeah, I'm super excited about it. So it'll be open for a few months at least. So
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love things like that. Like contemporary art museums are my favorite. And like I love museums so much, especially when there's like interactive things, and that just reminds me of that. And I'm like, oh man, it just sounds so cool. So fun.
Yeah. And that's it. Kind of, growing up as a fine artist, being in galleries and having that, like the gallery work where the artwork hangs on the wall and you're not allowed to touch it. It's just like, so precious. Just getting kind of bored of that and being like, all right, let's make artwork that people can touch and experience and almost be a part of, like as an instrument. So I think that's kind of more of the future for me, at least.
That's dope. And then how do you who is somebody like, hey, can you bring this whole thing over here? Like, how does that even happen? Like, I'm sorry if that was a dumb question, but I'm just like, how do you make that even happen?
Yeah. So my gallerist in New York, Joshua Liner, he had a gallery, and then COVID happened and, shut down, and started just doing like art dealing and then experiences. And he's like, hey, we want to do a Jen Stark experience. Let's start planning it and concepting it. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm down, in New York in the summer. So yeah, he's the one that first, popped that question. And then we kind of just got a team together somehow and just hustled for, I would say 5 or 6 months, just figuring out how to do this. We had never done anything like it before. We needed a production team, 3D mapping, technology team. So yeah, it was, so much fun and successful. So we're I want to bring it to LA, my hometown, and we're hoping to travel it to a different city every year.
Wow. Do you charge for it, for people to come?
Yeah, usually it's a ticketed experience.
Yeah, because obviously it's how else would you have to pay for all these things that happen. So of course you have to charge.
Yeah.
That's
fun. Ideally I'd love to have some schools come through on field trips and, those,
oh my God. Those kids would love that.
Yeah.
Just the idea of that is yes. What about token gated? You have to have an NFT, or if you have one of your NFTs, you can come in and you don't have to pay.
Yeah, that's going to be part of it. We're definitely having NFTs as part of the ticketing experience. And I definitely want to do token gated stuff for my collectors, maybe a special night. Yeah, so that's all in the works.
Cool. Sweet. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been so much fun, and thank you so much for coming on our show. what a treat. Yeah, and also, you know, if you want to see Jen Stark, she was in my last vlog of VeeCon, and I showed a clip. We were talking, and then boom, the next clip, Jen Stark on the main stage with 1 million people watching her. But yeah, anyway, thanks for coming on the show, Jen.
Yeah, thank you. This is so much fun. I love what you're doing, and yeah, let's keep building.
Keep building. Yes, as K Money would say, building. All right, thank you all so much for listening to this, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.